I'm sure a lot of you have heard of or perhaps even played the game Mario Kart Wii before. It was not only the best-selling racing game of all time for years, but was also one of the best-selling games in general back in its heyday. To this day, it holds a position in the top 20 best-selling games of all time. However, it also happens to be one of, if not the most broken games on the list so far. Since the game happens to be so broken, it becomes an easy target for speedrunners all across the world. But there's a certain type of speedrunner that is especially masterful at breaking the game's limits. And if you're familiar with the speedrunning community in at least some capacity, you should probably know that I'm talking about tool-assisted speedrunners, or TASers for short. If you don't know what a TAS is, it's essentially a speedrun that uses tools such as slowdown and checkpoints to create precise movements and inputs that get combined to make the fastest possible speedrun in a game. So, applying that knowledge to a game like Mario Kart Wii, people can use these tools to create a super fast time trial that can be replayed as if it were a normal time trial. But why is this knowledge important to this video? To answer that question, we have to take a look at a TASer and YouTuber named Kirio04. Kirio04 has a YouTube series named TAS Competition, or TAS Comp for short. This was started all the way back in early 2020, and has stuck around ever since. The name explains the concept fairly simply. Kirio makes a set of rules for a specific track, or sometimes multiple, or any tracks, that TASers have to follow, and TASers submit their speedruns to get put in the competition. Eventually, the results of the competition get revealed, and first place can go brag on everyone about how good their run was. So, for this video, I've picked out 3 TAS Comp tasks from the first season of the series, and I've decided to give it a go without the use of tools. I'll be showing the runs I got on each task, explaining the troubles I had with getting them, and showing a side-by-side comparison with the last place entry in the task and my run. So, without further delay, let's get on with the video. Starting off, the first thing I have to do is take the little ground ramp to be able to touch all of the bumps. This is actually the hardest part of this run, since the little bumps before the ramp make this strategy inconsistent. Of course, I had to dodge 3 of the 4 boost panels on the ramp, which wasn't too bad, but still a little tricky and luck based. In the half-pipe section, I opted to just stay on the blue boost panel without actually going up it, so that I would be able to hit the top of the pipe without much issue. The rest of the run is pretty straightforward, since I didn't have to follow any more rules after the half-pipe section. Now for the comparison with last place. My run is much slower than the task, clocking in at about 3 seconds slower. However, there are some advantages my run has over the task. For example, I was able to take the turn after the first ramp without any issues, however the task had to slow down. In addition, at the half-pipe section, the task goes on both sides of the half-pipe for some wild reason, while I opted to just stay on one side in my run. However, the task gains a lot of me at the turn skip and also just from generally driving better than I did. First thing you might notice is that I opted to use Dry Bones instead of Rosalina. I did that mostly because Dry Bowser is my second favorite character in the game, behind Funky Kong, but also because he has a mini turbo stat to offer on a vehicle that lacks said stat. After the cannon, I just drove as if I tried to make the blue zipper, but didn't. I then took the big ramp afterward and aimed slightly at the off-road so I could skip part of it. On the second ramp in the bumpy section, I angled myself so that I can take at least part of the single shortcut. Sadly, after the chasm, I missed the first boost panel, which was very costly as we'll see in a minute. Other than that, I'd say this was the best run out of the 3. As I mentioned, missing the first boost panel was costly due to the fact that I lost to last place by mere frames. And not only did I miss it by mere frames, I then beat that same run by 1 frame, which was still frames short from beating last place. One of the places I gained time was when I decided to take the turn inward rather than outward like the TAS did, which saved a second or two. I lost time at the bumpy section due to the TAS being a TAS and rapid fire hopping on the boost panels. However, I gained that time back by being able to take the shortcut without slowing down. After that, it was basically a competition to see who drove the best, and sadly, it was the TAS. This was probably the weirdest one, all because I couldn't release a mini turbo. This would have been a lot faster had I used automatic, but that would mean I'd have to try and learn how to play like that, which I didn't feel like doing for a silly little video like this. Another way this could have been better is if I had paid more attention to how I was driving in the first place, and since I was so focused on the release of a mini turbo, that didn't happen. Surprisingly, not much to say here, so enjoy the rest of the run. Not much comparison to be shown here other than the fact that I drove way worse and the TAS didn't slow down to avoid getting a mini turbo. To put it bluntly, I'm not surprised that I was 3 seconds behind last place. Again, nothing else to talk about, so enjoy the comparison. Well, that does it for this video. Let me know if you'd like to see a second video of this, as I'll probably spend more time doing runs on tasks than I did in this video if I do a second video. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you didn't, you can dislike the video too. I'll see y'all in the next video.